The royal astronomer taught me almost everything I know about the stars. From when I was just a little boy, I would spend nights with him on the palace roof, watching the skies and listening to him describe the constellations. He made lenses that helped us see deep into the constellations and realize the greatness of our God, one that created all the stars in the sky. That royal astronomer is long gone now, but I remember everything he told me. For years, he said we should expect a bright star to appear in the western sky and that we should follow it as it moves through the heavens. I was so excited when just such a star appeared, brighter than anything I'd ever seen. I pleaded with the king to let me travel and follow the star. When he refused, I pleaded again the following day, and then the day after that. One of the wise old men at the palace told him about the importance of the star, that it meant that a king was born, one that would change the world, and that the star would lead us to him. So, the king changed his mind. He ordered the country's greatest astronomers to go with me. We had helpers too, people to look after the camels, people to read maps, and people to feed us. We set off at night so that the star was clearly before us, and we could be sure which direction to go. We traveled for many days across the deserts of Arabia. It was very hot during the day when the sun was high in the sky, and freezing cold at night, so cold that on some nights we brought the camels into the tent to give us some warmth. Eventually, we came to Jerusalem and King Herod's palace. We were granted an audience and taken to meet the king. He knew of the prophecy, but knew of no royal babies being born in his country. He gave us permission to go on our way, but we could see that he was angry. We carried on, following the star. Not many miles later, it appeared to stop over the town of Bethlehem. So we went into the town and asked if there had been any royal births. No one knew of any royal families living in Bethlehem, but they guided us to an inn, and the innkeeper showed us to a hut in his yard. That is where we met baby Jesus. It was the most magical moment of my life. It was no wonder that Herod hadn't heard of the birth of this king. No royal palace, no courtiers, just a hut in the yard of an inn, the kind of hut you would normally keep sheep and cattle in. But all our party, the astronomers and the learned men and women, agreed straight away we were in the presence of greatness. The star had led us to the king we hoped to find. The parents were humble people. The father, Joseph, was a carpenter whose family came from Bethlehem many generations ago. They had come to the town of Galilee in the north because of the census, when the government counts the people. Mary, the mother, was a beautiful young woman with a great sense of calm about her, despite the hut being so busy with people. The baby Jesus captivated us all. He lay quite still in his cot, watching the comings and goings with wise eyes. We presented gifts, which Mary and Joseph accepted gracefully. They didn't seem at all surprised at such lavish presents. Mary took Jesus out of his cot and nestled him on her knees. Jesus looked at us and looked at the gifts. I felt like he was giving us his approval, letting us know that we had done the right thing coming to see him. We traveled back across the desert, back to the palace where I lived. I didn't hear about Jesus for many years, but I never stopped thinking about him. I carried on watching the stars, spending my nights on the palace roof, secretly hoping that another bright star would appear in the sky, moving fast and leading me to travel to see Jesus once again.
So you may have seen that in your adventure kit, we've included a star word. You may be wondering what a star word is. It's exactly that. It's a word on a star. So when the Magi followed the star, that's what led them to the gift that God had provided, which was baby Jesus. Now, we might be using our star words a little bit differently. For example, the word hope. You may not know what that word means, but you can look it up. You can share about what you think hope is, and you can use this star to help guide you on a fun and exciting journey this Advent season and beyond. So when you look up the word hope, see what it says. Pray that God will lead you with this word through the next season.
So the wise men got their direction from a star. When we read later on in Matthew 2, we find that Joseph gets direction to take his family to Egypt from an angel. All of these points of light are things giving the people in the Christmas story direction. Where do we get our direction? We get our direction from the Bible. In Psalm 119, verse 105, it says, "Your word is a lamp for my feet, a light on my path." That is the light that guides us. As we continue through this Advent season, we are looking for God's direction to give us hope. You have an Advent chain with the words and names of Jesus that you can look up what each name means. Where? From the Bible. You also have an Advent calendar that continues to tell a story that comes from the Bible. As we continue this journey together, I pray that the Bible gives you hope, which is the first candle, our first week of Advent. We hope that you will look to the activities on our website and look to the different things that we can do as we look at stars and light and ways that we can be guided by God's word. We hope you have a great Advent season, and we'll see you next week.